March the 2nd, 2026. Guys, it is 8:11 a.m. Central Time. Stock market opens in about 19 minutes. We've had a $10 jump from the weekend in the price of Brent crude per barrel. 69 going into about Thursday or Friday. Now we're at 79.16. We knew it was going to happen. Straits of Hormuz have a problem. And of course, any oil industry in that area is being affected somewhat, either via, have being attacked or the routes or shipping shut down. But something else has happened this morning, and one of the world's largest oil refineries in Saudi Arabia has been attacked. Now that could double or triple this escalation in oil prices that we had anticipated without this particular place getting hit. Let's take a look at it. But this is their big Aramco RAS, R-A-S, setup there. I know it's their largest, if not one of the largest in the world. And not only is it just a petroleum processing facility, but it's one of the world's largest shipping facilities, also getting the oil into the flow. But again, this is attacks coming in this morning. They've shut the whole thing down now, so the markets haven't opened, but we were looking at futures anyway. I'm just wondering how much this is going to change everything. Not only that, in the fog of this, and I'm not sure the exact timing of this or the exact timing, but Saudi Arabia took out 3 of our jets by accident in the fog of war. Each jet had 2 pilots. All 6 ejected. Of course, there's going to be some injuries, but they're saying they're all stable. And as soon as Saudi Arabia, from what I could see of the pictures, as soon as they realized what they had done, they thought it was Iranian aircraft. They went out and they rescued the pilots when they parachuted down, got them in their vehicles and everything, and it's, again, an accident. But in the fog of war, that's what happens. Just thank our Father that those 6 pilots are okay. They looked okay, but you can have terrible back problems from then on. Once you get ejected out of one of those jets at that speed, the force on your lower back is terrible, and a lot of people will have problems with that. But again, this is Aramco RAS, and it's just about as bad, if not as bad, as shutting down the Straits of Hormuz. And this is what it looks like under normal conditions, guys. Again, this is the Saudi Aramco RAS, R-A-S, Tanura Refinery, T-A-N-U-R-A, Tanura, maybe. The Ras Tanura Refinery, Saudi Arabia. Very large complex. Again, it's an oil-based country. That's where its wealth lies. And I'm just wondering, in the confusion, again, with our 3 jets taken out, and there's videos of that, again, your largest money maker in your country just gets hit. Here comes some jets. And in that fog of war, you're trying to stop any more damage. We don't know. We may never know. But they definitely said it was an accident, and the videos show them running out to rescue our pilots. This coming in this morning from the Jerusalem Post, it says Saudi Aramco's Ras Tanura refinery shut following drone strike from Tehran. It says this complex houses one of the Middle East's largest refineries with a capacity of 5,500 barrels per day, over 500,000, and serves as a critical export terminal for Saudi crude oil. Now, it depends on how quickly they can get everything there repaired or bypassed so they can, get back up and running. We don't know that yet. We don't know the full extent of the damage or if there will be any more attacks. But it would be a good time, if I were you, to fill up your vehicles with gasoline to the max, regardless of the cost now, because we were talking about yesterday, and some of the analysts had mentioned $130 to $150 per barrel crude. Well, that was before the Ras Tanura refinery got shut down. That's my point. And this morning also, Reuters is talking about a wave of attacks in the Middle East stretched into a 3rd day, also resulting in the suspension of most oil production in Iraqi Kurdistan. Several major Israeli gas fields throttling exports to Egypt. Now, so we got gas fields in Israel. We've got Iraqi Kurdistan oil production shut down. And this was more than likely part of the plan. We talked about it the other day. Remember, Iraq set its oil fields on fire, its own oil fields, in the sense that if we can't have it, nobody can have it. And that's kind of what is going on here in the fact that Iran and its proxies, by the way, a lot of those missiles that we saw last night apparently came from Lebanon, and Lebanon is getting bombed very heavily because of that in retaliation, both by the U.S. and Israel, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, oil prices surged as much as 13% intraday to above 82 a barrel, the highest since January 2025, as the conflict ground shipping to a near halt in the Strait of Hormuz, through which a fifth of global oil supply flows. But it's got to come from somewhere to flow through there. Now we're to the point of looking at the supplies. State oil giant Saudi Aramco's Ras Tanura refinery, which was shut as a precautionary measure, is part of an energy complex on the kingdom's Gulf Coast, which also again serves as a critical export terminal. Now, they're saying was shut down as a precautionary measure. It was getting the hell bombed out of it. I don't know how precautionary that is. You may not have had much choice, but they may just shut down operations through the whole complex, not wanting to get attacked and lose more people. But again, you saw the video. I don't have to say any more. And guys, it looks like it's spreading quicker than they can put the fires out. Now it's saying, meanwhile, gas giant Qatar Energy said it was also ceasing production of products associated with liquid natural gas. I think about 80% of the world's LNG comes through that strait also. But it says early today, Qatar's government said an energy facility belonging to Qatar Energy was attacked by 2 Iranian drones, with authorities assessing the damage. Also, in Iraq Kurdistan, which exports about 200,000 barrels of oil a day, they have stopped output at their fields as a precaution, with no damage reported. Offshore Israel, Israel's government instructed Chevron to temporarily shut down the giant Leviathan gas field. We've talked about this gas field, and that could be one of the things that would be the bait on the hook. And again, it's strange in 38 of Ezekiel, they talk about that hook in Leviathan. All of this is mentioned. But the Leviathan gas field, it puts out 21 billion cubic meters a year, or $35 billion export deal to Egypt. A spokesperson for Chevron, which also operates the Tamar gas field offshore Israel, has said its facilities were safe so far. They're just shutting down. That way, I guess if we get a drone strike or something, you don't have a big leak, big fires, and all of that. Kind of just chill and and see what happens. But every hour, every day that goes on, the price and the supply changes for petroleum products. Now, I don't think we're getting the full information, because Tehran had said if the Ayatollah was killed, they were going to attack all of the enemies, whether it was in Europe, U.S., wherever it was, they were going to strike them. And again, they're downplaying the Saudi Aramco situation, or are they downplaying some of the other ones? We don't know, but they're saying that Energene, which has shut down its production vessel serving smaller gas fields. In Iran, explosions were heard in the Karg Island, which processes 90% of Iran's crude exports. Iran, the third largest producer in the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Companies. OPEC, guys, pumps about 4.5% of global oil supplies. Iran's output is 3.3 million barrels per day of crude, plus 1.3 million barrels per day of condensate and other liquids. The markets are now open, guys. It's 8:34 a.m. Central. We're at 79.26. You can see it's live. It's changing. It had in the pre-market futures came up. Let's see, what's that spike right there? We were in the $80 range, over $80. See that? Anyway, that came back down very quickly. Now we're kind of leveling out, it looks like, for a minute at 79.27. Again, $10 jump per barrel. And this, can't count the weekend. But in just a few days, $10. We need that to stabilize. We don't need to see it go to 100 or 130 or 150. But the Dow, let's just take a look at the overall market, because this affects everything from fertilizer, transport, cost of food, everything. And we can see they're somewhat affected. Dow, they're seeing it tumble 500. It's down 416, which is better. 45 here. It was just at 50. And minus 139 on the NASDAQ. Russell 2K was open for just a second there. But anyway, we've seen these type drops many times. Not over this much oil disruption, though. So we hope that these numbers start turning back around. The oil numbers start going down. These go back up. I'm not invested in the stock market, but it is an indicator, guys, of the rest of the planet. And when these numbers go up, everything goes up. Electricity, food, transportation costs, we talked about it, everything. So it's the last thing we needed. I just hope that when they were planning out this operation, that they were able to look far enough ahead in this chess match to see this move coming. And it's not over. The battles continue. We're watching it, guys. You watch it. It's a heads up. Go fill up your vehicles. Be safe.